Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Huzur is saying that today is the first day of Ramadan and in England and in Pakistan as well, and the first day of the Dars. Last year, the last two verses of Surah Aale-Imraan were we did not do the Dars. Today, this year we should start with that. Huzur is saying, I wish to tell you something about the delay. They have to link up at 11:30, and it takes a few minutes to set that up. So they had told me that they will inform me whether they are ready or not. And then when they did it, then I came. Huzur is saying that will this be the case tomorrow, from tomorrow as well?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإن من أهل الكتاب لمن يؤمن بالله وما أنزل إليكم وما أنزل إليهم خاشعين لله لا يشترون بآيات الله ثمنا قليلا أولئك لهم أجرهم عند ربهم إن الله سريع الحساب يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون आले-इमरान आयात 200 और 201.
This is chapter Aale-Imraan, verses 200 and 201. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa inna min ahli al-kitabi, there are surely among the people of the book there are some laman yu'minu billahi, who will believe in Allah. But it said laman yu'minu billahi, that the one who believes in Allah. Huzur is saying that there's a difference in the way it is said. When we say Urdu, we say that those who will believe in Allah. In Arabic, the style is to say that there are surely among the people of the book there are quite a few of whom each of whom shall believe in Allah. So this is the style, although we are using a singular and we are using a singular in tense instead of a plural, but this is what it actually means, that verily among the people of the book there are some who will believe in Allah, and or the one who there'll be those who will believe in Allah. وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ, and in what has been sent down to you, وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ, and what was sent down to them, خَاشِئِينَ لِلَّهِ, humbling themselves before Allah, لَا يَشْتَرُونَ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا, they barter not the signs of Allah for a paltry price. They don't take a small price. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ, it is these who shall have their reward with their Lord. إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ, surely Allah is swift to take account. Here, what is worth mentioning, what is worth noting, shall I mention it afterwards? Or shall I first discuss the old commentaries, and shall I take up the discussion of each of the words? Huzur is asking what has been the style in the past. Khashi'in means that al-khushu az-zara'atu, that means khushu is humbleness. Now the question is that what's the difference between khushu and az-zara? Hazrat Imam Raghib thinks that aksaru ma yustamil, sorry, he was reading some Arabic, that mostly this khushu is used for the body, that is the body bowing or in prostration, etc. So these these actions which denote humbleness are usually called khushu in Arabic. Ad-duratu aktharu ma yustamalu. Reading some more Arabic. Fima yujilu fil qalbi. And according to Hazrat Imam Raghib, the word Raat, it refers to the state of one's mind, and it means that one's countenance, one's being is constantly bowed before Allah. And then in other words you can say that when there is a humbleness in the heart, then the body follows, so it or transforms into the body's obedience, or it's the body's actions. Some people have thought that it means the opposite of this. For example, we were saying we took this from Akrabul Mawarid, but someone has taken things it completely the other way, other meaning. They say that the fear of the sound and of the sight is the same as that of the body. That means that if the body is bowing, and for the eyes as well, this word khushu is used, so it's not exactly the opposite, but it's a slightly opposite. But Hazrat Imam Raghib, in any case, according to his knowledge of Arabic, he is the best, and Huzur is saying that I accept Imam Razi's translation in this regard, and Hazrat Muslim Azano, etc. all of them have given this translation a preference, that khushu has mostly to do with the body, and zara, azara, who was looking at the word huzu's relationship is mostly with the state of the mind or state of the heart. The other discussions which are worthy of mention here are that who are these people who are being mentioned here. In this regard, there are many commentators have taken them to mean certain particular people, and some have said that some have counted how many people there were, but there's a problem in this, which unless you understand that, you will not be able to understand the issue as to why these people are disagreeing with this in terms of this issue. They say, the people who can reflect on this, that Ahle Kitab, the people of the book, are those who had previously believed in the book, and then the Quran is saying that they will also believe in this, that is, whatever's given to them via the Prophet, the verses that have been revealed for their sake, they shall believe in them, and also and whatever is revealed to them. And they discuss as to why this is the case. So first of all, it refers to such people of the book who did not believe, in the sense that they did not join in with the Muslims in their Jamaat, but their heart is such, the state of their hearts is such that they've actually believed, and whatever of the book has descended upon them, they believe in that. But also they believe in, that is what was revealed to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And again, speaking about them, it means that they will always have a strong relationship with the people of the book. But it has also been told to us that while staying with the people of the book, they are still perfect in their belief in the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Khashid Allah, and they bow towards Allah.
एक
And
पहलू
this is
जो
one of
काबिल
the
तवज्जो है।
aspects which is worthy of
दूसरा, वो कहते हैं बात कि दर
being
हकीकत इसमें वो
considered,
लोग मुराद
and
हैं
they also say that it
जो
actually means those
हाँ
people
हज़रत पहले किताब
who
पर ईमान लाए थे, फिर
initially
हाँ
believed in the
हज़रत
book, and
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
then
वसल्लम पर ईमान लाए,
in in the
फिर
holy
कुरान की
in the
हिदायत
Holy
के
Prophet
मुताबिक
ﷺ, and then according to the
उस
guidance found in the Holy Quran,
उस तालीम पर भी ईमान लाए
they also
जो
believed in
उस
that
पर पहले
teaching
ईमान रखते थे।
upon which they
और
initially
ये वो लोग हैं जो
believed,
अहले
and these are the
किताब में से
people
मुख्तलिफ
who
वक्तों में मुसलमान हुए।
have become Muslims out
इनकी
of the people of
तफसील
the book in
बयान
different
करते हुए
times, and
मुफस्सिरीन
while
ने जो लिखा है
describing
वो मैं
them,
आपके सामने पढ़ के
the
सुनाऊंगा
comment
तफसील।
what the commenters have written, who are saying I should present that before you.
तफसीर कबीर जुज़ 9 154 में
Tafsir Kabir, volume
जो
9,
दर्ज है, रूहुल मानी, तफसीर
says
बहरुल
in Ruhul
मुहीत में,
Mani as well as Tafsir Bahrul Muhit as well, all of
कि
these books
ये
of commentary of the Holy Quran discuss this matter,
आयत दरअसल
that this verse is actually
नजाशी के मुतल्लिक नाज़िल हुई थी।
was
ये
actually
कहते
revealed
हैं
for the
कि
sake of
नजाशी
Najashi,
उन लोगों में
because
से
they
था
used to say that
जिन्होंने
Najashi
ये
was
बात
among
बयान
those
की
people
कि जो ईमान तो लाया
that who, although he
अहले किताब में
believed,
से था,
he
हाँ
was
हज़रत
among the book,
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम
sorry,
पर
the people
नाज़िल
of the
होने वाली
book,
वही जब उसके सामने
and
तिलावत की
he
गई तो
the
उसने कहा एक ज़बन है
revelation was revealed
तेरे ईमान
before
को
him,
उससे फर्क
and
नहीं
he
है।
says, I mean, was
और
revealed
उसके
before in
बावजूद
front of him, and he said that
तो
this is not
जहाँ तक
no
रस्मी
different
ताल्लुक़
from
है
what
ईसाई ही रहा,
than
ईसाई
what we
कहलाता
believe
रहा,
in, and yet he
मगर
remained
उसके
being
ईमान का ये
called
हाल
a
था
Christian,
कि
but his
बयान
faith
किया
was
जाता है
such
कि
that
आ
it is
हज़रत
said about
सल्लल्लाहु
him that the Holy Prophet
अलैहि वसल्लम
sallallahu
को
alaihi
उसके
wasallam
विसाल की इत्तला
was,
वही के ज़रिए दी
when the
गई
Holy Prophet
और
ﷺ
आपने उसका
was
जनाजा
given the
पढ़ा।
news of his death in a
ये
revelation, and he read his
बयान
janaza,
ये मौक़िफ़ इख्तियार
and
करने वाले मुफस्सिरीन
and
कहते
and
हैं
if he adopt this about
कि
if he
असल
adopt this about
इशान
someone,
नुज़ूल ये है कि जब आ
then
हज़रत सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम पर
sorry, the real
जनाजा
reason
पढ़ा
for its revelation is that
तो
when the Holy Prophet
मुशरिकीन
ﷺ
ने
read the
एतराज़
funeral
किया
prayer,
उन्नीस सौ
then the
उनतीस में
idolaters
कि ये कैसा
complained,
रसूल
and
है कि
others
ना उसका
also
मुंह
did
देखा
that, look,
जो
what kind of
नजाशी था
prophet is this? He did not look at
और
his
ना
face,
गोया
that is
कि
Najashi's
हकीकत में
face,
ईमान
and
लाया था,
he
वो तो
did, because
ईसाई
he
ही
had
रहा,
not really believed,
उसके
and
बावजूद
he
उसका
remained a
जनाजा पढ़ दिया
Christian,
गया।
and
तो
despite that he read
मुफस्सिरीन
his funeral
कहते हैं
prayer,
कि
and the
इसके
commentators
जवाब में
say that in
ये बताने
response
के
to
लिए कि
this,
नजाशी का
in
जनाजा
order
क्यों
to
पढ़ा
say,
गया, ये आयत
to
नाज़िल हुई।
tell
तो
why
वही जो
Najashi's
शान नुज़ूल का खौफ
funeral
में
prayer was read.
बाद
They think
आयात
this
को
is
मरबूत
why
करके
this
एक ही जगह बांध
verse
देते
was
हैं,
revealed, and some
ये उनका
people,
मौक़िफ़ है।
this is the same habit that
मगर
they try to
जो
confine
वाक़या
the
ही
meaning
है
of a verse
अपने
to a
शान
particular
रखता है
incident, etc. Those saying that
और इस आयत का
incident in
जो
itself
मफ़हूम
has
है वो
got
भी
great
बातिल हो
glory,
सकता है।
but and it could be,
मगर
that
ये
could be one
कहना
of
कि
the
महज नजाशी के साथ ही
subjects
आयत नाज़िल हुई
I'm pointing
ये दुरुस्त नहीं,
towards which
क्योंकि बहुत
this
से दूसरे
points, but to
मुफस्सिरीन
say that this verse is
इस
only
मौक़िफ़ को
about
कबूल नहीं
Najashi, that
करते
this is wrong, because
और
other
वो
people
बाज़ और
do
लोगों
not
को
accept this point of
नुकसानदेह
view,
समझते हैं
and they
कि
also
उसकी बजाय कुछ ज़्यादा
point
नुकसानदेही
out
करते हैं।
other people as well
इब्न
who
जुरैह
are,
इब्न ज़ैद के नज़दीक ये
who
आयत
say Ibn
अब्दुल्लाह बिन
Juray and
सलाम
Ibn
और उसकी
Juray.
पत्नी के बारे में नाज़िल हुई
This verse was revealed
और
about
ये भी कहा
Abdullah,
गया कि इस आयत के मिस्दाक़
um,
नजरान के
and
40
and they
अफराद,
say that
हबशा के 80
the people who
और
this
रूम के
applied to
8
were
अफराद थे
people of
जो
belonging
पहले
to
ईसाई थे और
Persian,
फिर इस्लाम लाए।
Christian, and other
ये
races,
जो दूसरे
and they
तबके के लोगों ने
number
एक
them as
शख्स के
well.
इस आयत के
Huzur is
मज़मून को
saying
बांधने की
that
बजाय
they, instead
इन
of
अफराद को
binding
आम
this
किया,
towards
मगर अभी भी
with one
तफसील नहीं की।
individual, they have said that they generally
इस बहस से
this
हमें
is
ये तो
about
अंदाज़ा
certain
हो गया
people in
कि
general.
उस वक्त तक
From this
अहले किताब में से
we
कितने
have
ईमान लाए थे
realized that only so
कि
many people
इन
had believed
मुफस्सिरीन
among
ने
the people of the book, because these
बहुत जस्तजू करके
commentators
रवायतें इकट्ठी
have
करके
worked very hard, and they have
गिनती की है।
combined together all of
तो
these
मालूम होता है उस वक्त तक
references, and
नजाशी
they
के
have
अलावा
counted them. So it seems that
40 और भी
apart
अहले
from
किताब थे
Najashi, there were 40 other people of
कुरान
the
की
book who
तालीमें।
had accepted Islam.
नजरान का जो वफद आया था याद है आपको, जिसमें
Huzur say,
हाँ
asking
हज़रत
about
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
the
वसल्लम को
party of
मुआहदा हुआ और
Najran,
फिर बाद में मुबाहले का चैलेंज दिया गया।
and they
नजरान
were
के घरानों
given a
में से
Bahla
इस
challenge
वक्त
afterwards.
40
Huzur
ईसाई
saying
मुसलमान
that
हो चुके थे
out of them 40
और
Christians
हबशा के
believed,
80 अफराद।
and of
रूम के
Habsha, there were 83 people,
जिसको हम
sorry,
मदीना
38
अंसार का वो
people,
हिस्सा है जो
and
शाम
Rome,
के इलाके के साथ मिलता
which
था,
is the part of the
इसके
Roman
आठ
Empire,
अफराद
which
ईसाइयों से
was adjacent
इस्लाम
to
कबूल कर
the
लिए।
Muslims
तो
area, and
मुजाहिद
there
ने
8
अपनी
of them had become
ये आयात यहाँ
Muslim. And but
पहले से
according to
जो पढ़ते
Mujahid,
हैं उन सबकी
these are
दरखास्त
not specifically
अमूमी आयात हैं, जिनका
about
हर
them.
अहले
They are
किताब
general.
से ऐसे अहले किताब
Uh,
से ताल्लुक़ है
they are
जो
of general
नबी से ईमान ले
significance,
आए
and they
हैं
have to do all with all such believe
और
people of the book who
ज़ाहिर
have
कर दें
believed
कि
from their
पहले ही
hearts,
इसने कबूल
and
कर लिया हो।
they should
ये आयत
accept
इन
it.
तमाम ईमान लाने
Apparently,
वालों
as
के
well,
बारे
Huzur
में
is saying
कहती है
that
कि इस्लाम
this
सबसे
verse is not about
अहले
all those
किताब में
people
से
who
थे,
believed. It
लेकिन
is only
इस्लाम
after
कबूल
a
कर
few,
लिया।
were a few people, sorry,
इमाम
but
राजी
those
ने
who had accepted
मुजाहिद
Islam.
कौल को
Imam Razi um,
औला करार दिया है।
has
और
regarded what
सबसे
Mujahid has said as
तकलीफ
being
शदीद जो
having taken
मुजाहिद की तकलीफ
precedence.
से मुजाहिद की
Um,
तफसीर को बेशक जाना है,
and
लेकिन
uh,
इसमें ये
they have
मसला
given
अभी
preference
हल
to
नहीं हुआ
Mujahid's commentary, but this
कि ये
problem is still
अमूमी आयत है
remains,
और सब अहले किताब पर इतलाक पाती है जो
that
मुसलमान हुए।
this is applies to all the
मुसलमान
people
होने
of
के
the
बाद
book,
फिर
that before
उनके
before
उस कलाम
they
पर ईमान
became
लाने का क्या मतलब है,
um,
जहाँ सबसे सफ़र
Muslims.
का आगाज़ हुआ था।
Why do they
वो तो
believe
पहले
in
ही
that
ईमान ला
which
रहे थे
for,
अहले
sorry, they
किताब
were
पर।
already believing anyway
ये
in the
कहने के
book?
बाद कि वो
So
तुम्हारे ऊपर नाज़िल होने वाली वही पर भी ईमान ले आए, फिर ये कहने की क्या
to
ज़रूरत है?
say that they believed in
हज़रत
what was revealed to you
मुस्लिम
as well, what was the point in
ये
saying this? So the Muslim
फरमाइश करते
Azanho
हैं
has
कि
said
दरअसल
that
उनका
this means
बाइबल पर
that
ईमान
their belief in the
शक्ली
Bible
और रवायती ईमान था,
is was
जो
a
हकीकत में
superficial belief
हज़रत
which
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
was
वसल्लम पर ईमान लाने के बाद पुख्ता
which
हुआ
after the belief in the Holy
और
Prophet
इस
when
सभी
the Holy
ईमान
Prophet
के साथ सबसे
came,
पहले
it
ईमान की
became more firm,
तक़वियत के लिए
and it
और
gave more
इसका
strength to
हकीकी
their
मफ़हूम
previous
उनको
faith.
उस
And the
वक्त समझ
real
आया जब हज़रत
meaning
सल्लल्लाहु
of
अलैहि
this was
वसल्लम पर ईमान
they
लाया।
understood when they believed
इस
in the Holy Prophet
तरीके ये
ﷺ.
माना
From this
जितनी
regard,
भी
this
उम्मतें
meaning,
पीछे भी दूसरे तस्लीम आए
uh,
हैं उन्हें सबसे
and
बुलंद
oh,
तस्लीम किया है।
and of all the other translators, this is the
दूसरे
best
इसमें
translations. This is the best
एक
commentary and translation.
पेशगोई का रंग भी है, ले
And there's
आए
also a
वही
prophecy
पत्थर जो
contained
तुम ला के रखे
in
थे
here
हज़रत नहीं है,
that is not about those people who had
बल्कि
already believed. Indeed,
मुख्तलिफ बाद में आने वाले ग्रोह
different
जो हमेशा
people
इस्लाम
who
में
were to
दाखिल
come
होते रहेंगे,
afterwards, who kept
उनका जिक्र
joining
भी है।
into Islam,
और
who
वो
were going
कौन
to join
लोग
into
हैं,
Islam, they are being
तो
mentioned,
इसकी
and who will
चाबी
those people
दरअसल
be?
लफ्ज़
The key to
खाशिईन
this
में रखी
is
गई है।
in the word khashi'in.
इस ताल्लुक में
In this regard,
अब हम इस आयत की तरफ लौटते हैं।
also saying that we should return towards a verse.
वइन्न मिन अहलिल किताब
وَإِنَّ
लमन
مِنْ أَهْلِ
युमिनु
الْكِتَابِ
बिल्लाह, अहले
لَمَّا
किताब
يُؤْمِنُ
में से
بِاللَّهِ, that
यकीनन
of the
ऐसे
people of
हैं
the book there are
लमन
certainly such
युमिनु
people
बिल्लाह,
لَمَّا
यहाँ
يُؤْمِنُ
तर्जुमा
بِاللَّهِ,
मुस्तकबिल में भी किया जा सकता है,
where
जो
the
बेहद
translation
ईमान
can
लाते
be in
हैं,
the future as well, but
और
those
एक
who
है जो अल्लाह पर
believe
ईमान
and
लाएंगे,
those who
वमा
will
उनज़िला
believe in
इलैका,
Allah.
और
This
जो
is what
तुम
this
पर
word means. وَمَا
उतारा
أُنزِلَ
गया,
إِلَيْكَ, and whatever was revealed to
वमा
you, that is to
उनज़िला
the Holy Prophet
इलैका,
sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَمَا أُنزِلَ
और जो उन
إِلَيْكَ,
पर उतारा जा चुका था।
and whatever had been revealed to them.
तो गोया कि वो अपने
So it's as if they,
ईमान में मोहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह के
in their
ईमान के रास्ते से
faith,
दाखिल होंगे।
they shall return, they shall
बात
go
तो
enter
वही
into
है
their
जो
faith through the
हुज़ूर
Holy
ने
Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
हाल के
Huzur
रात
is
में
saying that
फरमाई है
the
कि मैं जो
second
इशारा कर
Khalifa
रहा हूँ वो ये है कि एक तरफ
has translated into meaning
महज उस ज़माने
into
से
meaning
नाश पाने
something that
वाली
happened
आयत होगी
in the present,
जिससे
but I
पहले
don't
जो
think
लोग
that it
जितने लोग
applies only to that
इसका
particular
ईमान लाए
time.
थे,
I think that such
बल्कि एक
people,
मुस्तकिल जारी रहने वाली पेशगोई
this
है।
was a
अहले
continuous
किताब में से
prophecy
वही
that
हकीकत
the
में
people
अपनी
of the
किताब पर
book,
ईमान लाएगा
only
जो पहले
those will believe in their
मोहम्मद
own
रसूलुल्लाह
book who
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम
first believe in the Holy Prophet
और आप पर
sallallahu alaihi
नाज़िल होने
wasallam,
वाली वही
and
पर
when
ईमान
the
लाएगा।
revelation that was
खाशिईन
revealed
लिल्लाह,
to him, khashi'in
तो ऐसे
billahi.
लोग कौन होंगे?
Or who should such
वो
people
जिनके
be?
दिल
Those
अल्लाह के
whose
ज़िक्र में लगे
hearts
रहते हैं।
are bowed before
और
Allah
लफ्ज़
constantly.
खाशिईन के
And
मुतल्लिक़
the word
अगर कभी
khashin
आपने
about this,
लफ्ज़ात का
because
हवाला सुना है कि
we haven't
जवारिस से
we haven't
ताल्लुक़
heard
रखता है,
recently. It has to do
मगर
with
हर जगह जहाँ
with
जवारिस
sorry,
से ताल्लुक़ का ज़िक्र है वहाँ
it's
अक्सर ताल्लुक़
Javara.
रखता है।
I'm not sure what that means. Sorry.
हरगिज़ किसी
Huzur is saying
अहले
that
ज़ुबान ने ये नहीं कहा
it no
कि खाशिईन
people who know
महज
the
महज जवारिस
language
यानी
say
ज़वात से ताल्लुक़ रखता है,
that this has to do merely with the body's parts of the body. It also has to do with um, other things, and when it begins from the heart and it has an effect on the body, and so it means those khashin whose hearts has humbleness, and as a result of that their bodies, because of that humbleness, they bow before Allah, so they perform the outside the apparent worship as well. So they, this means that they're not just mentioning those who only believe with their heart, because khushu means the heart and also the body. So it is more correct to translate this as that those people in whose hearts there was a defect, which became evident in their bodies, and when it becomes evident in the bodies, then you accept the wrong, what is wrong. And another character of this is la yashtaruna bi'ayatillahi thamanan khalila, that these people in reality they they leave one point of view and then go to a different point of view, and the signs of Allah, they do not barter the signs of Allah for a paltry price, because accepting faith you have to pay for it, or you have to give something for it. It doesn't mean that Huzur is saying that every kind of faith, every kind of any monetary value is less than the treasure of faith that one has, because any price is less and meaningless compared to faith, the blessings of faith. So those are the people who have who are so daring, because they know that they have to offer sacrifices. And it's not that they don't barter the verses, it means that whatever they have, when this starts to happen, it won't remain theirs anymore. And such people who live in such societies, environments, it is very well possible that everything may be taken away from them, and because keeping it safe is also important. And this incident happens in this new history of Ahmadiyya, which is like similar to this old history. More often Ahmadis are pressurized by threatening them that their wealth shall be taken away from them, and or their inheritance shall be snatched away from them. Although they have received a price, that is because they have to pay a price for their faith. So this is a trial. So such people whose hearts are bowed before Allah and their bodies are bowed before Allah, then to them no value, no one can make them sell their faith. No, there can be no money for which they could sell their faith. And these are the people whose reward is with their Lord, and their reward is definitely safe with Allah. And verily Allah is swift to take account. Now Huzur is saying that here the word Sari'ul Hisab is been mentioned before as well in the Quran class, and I had made it very clear that sometimes it appears as if it will happen after a long time. And when Allah uses the word Sari'ul Hisab about himself, then apparently there seems to be a contradiction. If you think it means that their reward is with their Lord, protected, and then when they're brought to life again, that they shall have their reward. So why Sari'ul Hisab? Sari'ul Hisab means to someone who immediately, quickly, swiftly takes account. He immediately makes a decision, and this could have two meanings. First of all, the permanent meaning is that the word Sari'ul Hisab doesn't mean someone who rewards quickly, gives a reward quickly. It means somebody who takes account quickly, and when the account is taken quickly, then their reward is done their reward,
हाँ
their
हम बस
reward is protected. So some
बिल्कुल
people
ठीक
say
फरमाया
that do our
और
accounts and they
ऐसे
don't
मौके पर
really
फिर हिसाब
worry
तलब आता
about
है
the
जहाँ कुछ
money that much to
अंदरूनी
get it straight away.
कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हैं
So there are some
जिनको समझना
internal
हर
complications
तस्लीमात से काम नहीं है
and which is understanding
वो
of which
लोग
is
जिनके दिल की
not
शख्सियत के
possible
साथ
for
ताल्लुक़ हो
everyone. Those
दिल के
people who
वसीलों के
have to
साथ
do
जिनका
with
ताल्लुक़ हो
have
और बाद उनमें से ऐसे
the
भी हैं
heart,
जिनके
who
मुतालिक कहा
changes
नहीं जा
of the
सकता कि
heart, and
दर
about
हकीकत
some people about whom you
वो
cannot
क्या
say
कर
that
रहे हैं
in
कितनी कुर्बानी दी है
how much
क्योंकि अल्लाह
sacrifice they
फरमाता
have
है
offered,
आयात
because
में
Allah
हम
says
फरीज़ा कबूल नहीं करते
that
हर
who
इंसान जो मोमिन होता
they
है वो कुछ ना
they're
कुछ
saying
कुर्बानी
everyone who
देता है
believes he
हर
gives
एक की
a
कुर्बानी
sacrifice of
का
some
राज
sort,
हर इंसान को
and the
मालूम
secret
नहीं
of
होता
everyone's
कईयों को वाक़तन
sacrifice
पैसे
people
दिए
don't
जाते हैं
know.
जो रद्द कर देते
Some
हैं
people are actually given
बस
money
ये
which is
जो
rejected.
बारीक कुर्बानियों की
So
राहें हैं
these
इनका
the
हिसाब
the
खुदा के
fine
सिवा जो आलिमुल गैब है वो कर ही नहीं सकता
details of the
और
sacrifice
वो
is
साथ
only
साथ
known
हो
to
रहा है
Allah, and He is doing it.
इसलिए कि
As
इंतज़ार की
soon as
ज़रूरत नहीं
we do that,
अल्लाह ताला फरमाता
we
है कि
perform
ये वो
that
लोग
deed, and
जिन्हें
there's no
हलाक
need to
से गुजरे
wait
हैं
for Allah.
और
And
हर
Allah
कुर्बानी
is
की राहों
saying
से गुजर
that
कर
these people
इस्लाम में
who go
दाखिल हुए
through
हैं
all these
जिनकी कोई
sacrifices and then they
बारीक
have
से
entered into
बारीक कुर्बानी
Islam,
भी ऐसी नहीं
then
जो अल्लाह की
there
नज़र
is
से
no
रह गई हो
the
तो
smallest
अल्लाह
of
की
their
मुखातिब हो जाए
sacrifices, there is no sacrifice
हिसाब
that they
जारी है
have which
साथ
is
साथ और हो
not
रहा है
known to Allah.
जिसका ख़त्ती नतीजा ये निकलता है
And then obviously the
इंदा
result of
रब्बिहिम
that is
अजरुहुम इंदा
that in
रब्बिहिम
ajruhum in the rabbihim,
उनका अजर लाजिमन
that
अल्लाह
their
के पास
reward will most
है
certainly
जब
be
हिसाब
with
हो
God,
गया तो
protected
उसको
with
सबूत
God,
नहीं किया
because as soon
जाएगा
as their account is
इसी
done,
वजह
then
से
their
जिस
reward
वक्त ये
is
हिसाब
certain.
का मतलब अगर इस
And
दुनिया पर इसका इतलाक
if
करना हो
you think
तो
Sariul
ये
Hisab,
बनेगा
if you want to
कि
apply it to
उनको
this world, then you would
दुनिया
say
में भी अजर मिलेगा
that they will also get
और
their reward in
अल्लाह
this
ताला
world, and
हिसाब में बहुत
Allah
लंबी ताख़ीर नहीं करेगा
doesn't will not
और
wait
ऐसे
for a
लोग
long
जो
time
खुदा की
in
खातिर
the
कुर्बानी
taking the
करते
account
हैं
of those people who give
उनको
sacrifice
ज़रूर
for the sake
दुनिया
of
में भी
Allah.
सज़ा मिल जाती
They
है
will also get a reward in
और
this
ये
world.
ऐसा मजमून है
And this
जिसको
is
हमने
the
दक़्क़त के
subject
साथ
which
हमेशा
Hazur
पूरा
is
होते
saying
हैं
that we have seen it fulfilled.
अगर कहीं
Most
काम
certainly,
मिले हैं
if there is any
और
exceptions
ख़ास के तौर
anywhere,
पर मिल जाते हैं
and which is very rare,
तो بعید नहीं कि उन
then
लोगों के दिल
it
की
may well be
कैफियत
that
में
the
कुछ
situation of those people's
कमज़ोरी आ
hearts
चुकी हो
are have
और उनकी कुर्बानी
suffered a weakness, and
कोई
their
कुर्बानी
sacrifice
का हिस्सा ना रहा
may
हो
not have been
अगर
completely
फुर्सत और इख्तियार होता है तो
voluntary,
शायद
and
उसी की हद में
if if they
इसमें कमाल
actually,
मौजूद है
if
मगर
it
इस
was up to
कमाल
them,
को भी
then they may not have
हकीकत में समझ सकते
sacrificed. So there is this
कि अल्लाह ताला
possibility, but we
जो
are not
हिसाब है
even
उसमें
certain about
कौन
that,
क्या
because
क्या
Allah, who
चीज़ें
is
जबर
Sariul
करते हैं
Hisab,
ये
who
हिकमतें
knows
हैं
what He has
जो निकालते
seen
हैं
in
ये कहकर ऐसे
people,
लोगों को ईमान
and
को रद्द करना हमारा
for
अपना
us to
इजाज़
reject such people's faith and
कमाल बताया कि ये भी कुछ
belittle it is not up to
इंसानी आँख
us.
से देखकर हम
I
फैसला
have
नहीं
said
कर
that
सकते
there is a possibility, but
अक्सर
it's
सलूक
not
से
up
जो
to us to make
अनसारियत
these
की है
judgments. So the
मैंने ऐसे देखा
majority,
कि जिन्होंने
we have
अपनी
seen
कुर्बानियाँ दी
that those who give
उनको
financial
खुदा ताला ने
sacrifices,
इतना दिया
Allah gave them so
कि
much
जो खोया
that
था उसके मुकाबले पर
what
बेशुमार
they had lost, Allah gave them far more than that.
और हिजरत के बाद
And after the
तमाम
migration,
दुनिया में जमात अहमदिया को अल्लाह ताला ने
when the Jamaat
इनामात
Ahmadiyya
से
spread
नवाजा है
over the whole
और
world,
उन
and
ख़ानदानों को
it has been
इनामात से
given
नवाजा है जो
the
जब छोड़े थे
gifts,
तो
and
हकीकत
those
में कुछ नहीं
families
था
who, when they left the Pakistan, they had nothing, and so
इसलिए
what they
हमने
had
इसके
lost
मुकाबले पर
is
जो
nothing
पाया
compared to what they have gained.
सरीउल हिसाब का एक ये भी माना
So
लग सकता है
this is one of the
कि
meanings,
अल्लाह
could be
ताला
one of the meanings of
कायनात
Sariul Hisab,
और उसकी फ़िज़ा
that
देखता
Allah
है
is in His accounting and
और
in His
तुम्हें मरने के बाद का इंतज़ार नहीं
reward as
करना
well.
होगा वो तो होगा ही
He's quick,
अव्वल और
He's
असल
swift,
जज़ा तो वही है
so you don't have to wait
कि
until the
दुनिया में भी
hereafter.
तुम
That is
नेकियों को बंदा
obviously
पाओगे
the best form of reward, but in this world as well, you'll enjoy the reward of your deeds.
इस सिलसिले में जो
In this regard,
मुफस्सिरीन के हवाले हैं उनमें से
the Orientalists comment references, we were saying, I want to read that before you.
मुश्किल ये है कि
The problem
असल
is
मज़ा
that
तब्दील करने के लिए
Zuri is
अच्छी
saying
मिसाल
that
लाई जाती है
usually
और
people have
ये
something
मुफस्सिरीन
nice
के
when
बारे
they
में
want
आफत
to
रखते हैं
eat something, when they want to finish their food, they eat the best bits at the end. But these Orientalist point of views, which are not very tasty, they've been kept at the end for me to read.
इन सब ने गालिबन
All of
उन
them have
रवायात को
probably
कबूल किया है जो
accepted
इस
those
आयत
references
करीमा के मुताबिक बयान
which
करती हैं कि ये
have been which claim that this verse is to do with the funeral of Najasi. Therefore,
नाम नहीं लिखा हुआ,
so they're saying that the name isn't written here.
ये भी जगह में
It's probably sale.
persons
The persons here meant, some will have to be Abdullah ibn Salam and his companions. Others proposed they were 40 Arabs of Najdan and 32, instead of 38 it says 32 Ethiopians, or sorry, I didn't hear the rest, who were converted from Christianity to Muhammadanism. And others say that this was revealed in the 9th year of the Hijrah, when Muhammad ﷺ and Gabriel was bringing him the news of the death of Asma. So saying, is it Asma or Asma? It's with iron. So he's saying that they have written Asma, but as far as I remember, it wasn't Asma, it was Asma. Is there not a hay after the an? So they're saying it's not Asma. You have to say it, read it as Asma. So they're saying that it is Najashi, who was a king of Ethiopia, who is mentioned in history. His name was Asma, but some have written that it was Najashi's own personal name, and the Muslims then made that into his title because a great incident occurred with which was associated with him. So after that, forever the king of Ethiopia was named Najashi. So whatever it was, some people think that one of the names is a title, and the others think it's his personal name. He accepts who had embraced Muhammadan religion from some years before. So prayed for their soul, that is the Holy Prophet ﷺ prayed for the soul of the departed, at which some of his hypocritical followers were displeased and wondered that he should pray for a Christian whom he had never seen. We were saying this is a strange, pointless thing that he's saying. Why would it hurt the hypocrites, as if they are better believers? He's saying that such converts and such converts from Christianity, his funeral prayer was read and his face was not seen. What does this have to do with this? Can you only read the funeral prayer of someone whom you don't see? What about women? Huzur is saying that can you not read their funeral prayer if you don't see their faces? So Huzur is saying this is completely wrong. The people who were fundamentalists, they took this point of view. Here only the hypocrites are not meant. Hypocrites had hypocritical ideas about other people as well, and here the Holy Prophet ﷺ's own believers are not mentioned. It means it refers to those people who were hurt after seeing the greatness of Islam, that a great king who was the king of a Christian country becomes a Muslim, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ, by receiving a revelation from Allah, he prays his funeral prayer, and the incidents afterwards. We understand that he had. Sorry, this is they try to, because the Orientalists try to hide these things, and they think that it's only a small thing, and suddenly they think they're trying to present it that this created a breaking up of the Islamic society. Is completely wrong. This is a great miracle that the Holy Prophet ﷺ was told through a revelation that he had died and he should read his funeral prayer. And as far as not seeing his face, this subject has been taken up by commentators as to whether or not you can do the funeral prayer in absentia or not. Huzur is saying Malik Saifur Rahman Sahib has
मशवरा दिया था कि जनाजा
given
गायब
me a
नमाज कम
suggestion
करें,
that you should
उसने
do
ये
less
हवाला भी दिया था।
of
नजाशी का
janaza
जनाजा तो पढ़ा गया और एक और
funerals
जनाजे का
which were
जिक्र किया
not
कि वो भी पढ़ा गया, मगर ये अमूमी
in
गुस्ताखी थी।
absentia, that only, and he
अगर
said
आपने
that
शुरू कर दिए तो
Najashi's
फिर
funeral prayer and others,
सारी
one other
दुनिया
was
की
done by the Holy
जमात
Prophet
आपके पीछे
ﷺ,
पड़ जाएगी और हर
and he
जगह
said
आने
that
वाले
if you
मुसलमान
keep doing this,
तकफीर
then
शुरू हो जाएंगे।
the people will start
मौना देखना
demanding that
मुराद नहीं
you
है,
um,
गायबाना की बात
read the
होती
funeral
है
prayer of
सिखाई,
anyone
कि जनाजा तो तब पढ़ा जाता है
who
जब
dies
सुनना हो।
anywhere. Huzur is saying that
गैब
he thought
देखने जाने से
that
जनाजा नहीं पढ़ा जाता।
he's
इस समय
saying
में
that
अब मैं आपको ये भी बता दूं कि मलिक साहब की तजवीज़ से
you
शुरू की
cannot read the um,
और अब हर फौत होने
funeral prayer of
वाले को
someone
शुरू कर
who is
दिया।
absent.
पता
Huzur is
गया
saying that there is
ये
a request
रसूल
for
की
anyone
वजह
who
से
passes
ये
away, and if
नफी
this is started,
एक बिदत बन
then
जाएगी,
it may become a new
सुन्नत हसना नहीं है,
innovation, which will not be a good
बल्कि
sunnah.
बिदत में तब्दील हो जाएगी।
Indeed, it will turn into a
इसलिए मैं
bid'at
अभी
or a
मुतनब्बे करता हूँ
innovation.
जमात को
You're saying, I'm warning you
कि
now
सिर्फ
that
इत्तला देना फ़र्ज है अगर
it is
मैंने
important to
समझा।
inform me if
अब
I
खुद
regard it to be
कि
important,
फ़लाँ
if I
शख्स का
regard
जनाजा
it
गायब हो जाना
that
चाहिए
some such and
तो मैं
such
खुद पढ़ा
person's
दूँ,
funeral in
वरना इस
absentia should be
फितने
read, then I will
के
do it.
रोकथाम के लिए
So,
जिसके मुतल्लिक
for the sake of
मलिक
ending
सैफुर
of
रहमान
this
साहब मरहूम
disorder
रहमतुल्लाह
about
तआला
which
ने
Malik Saifur
पहले से
Rahman
अपनी
Marhum
वफ़ात से पहले
Rahmatullah
मुतनब्बे कर दिया था
had warned
और
me
मैं
from
उसकी
his because
बात
of his
तस्लीम कर
wisdom,
चुका था
and I had accepted what
और
he
अंजुमन से
had
एक्सपेक्ट
said,
ये किया था कि
and
वो
I
जिसकी
told the
सिफारिश को
Anjuman to
मुअय्यन तौर पर वो उनको रास्ता वो
to
भेज देंगे,
when
बाकी मैं
they
खुद फैसले करूँगा।
tell me about someone,
अब
suggest about
ये
someone that I
ऐसा
should read
रिवाज आम हो
their
चुका है
funeral
बल्कि
prayer, then they should do so. But
ऐसी शख्सों के साथ आम हो गया है।
I will
मुझे ये भी बताया
decide
जाता है
myself. Huzur is
कि
saying that this has become
Aale-Imraan
so
वो किस
commonplace
वक्त
now.
जनाजा पढ़ें,
People say
जब
that this has
जुमा पढ़
become
चुके हैं तो
such a
उसके साथ
custom
मिला के जनाजा पढ़ें
that people
और गोया जनाजा
should
एक नुमाई
funeral
या
be
अपने
combined,
अजीजों
should
की
be
नुमाइश
added
का
to
जरिया बन गया, ना कि
Friday. So it's
रसूल
as if
मग़फ़िरत
the
के लिए।
funeral has become
बस
a source of showing off
आज के
for the
बाद
people who have
दोबारा
died
से
rather than for their
कम से कम इतनी देर
forgiveness,
के
praying
लिए
for their forgiveness.
कि हमें
Huzur is
यकीन हो
saying
जाए
that
कि
from
ये
now on,
रस्म मिट गई है, हम
until I'm sure that
उसकी पहली
this
हालत को
custom
वापस आना
is
पड़ेगा जब अफराद
removed,
की रस्म मिट रही
I
है।
will return to the
रोज़मर्रा जनाजा गायब नहीं
sunnah of
पढ़े
the
जाते,
previous
खास के तौर पर पढ़े जाते हैं,
khulafa.
समझ गए।
Funeral prayer in absence is not done
बाज़
normally.
दफ़ा मैं
It's
थोड़े
done
से
very
फ़र्क
rarely.
इस्तेमाल कर
Huzur is
लेता
saying
हूँ
that for
कि
some people I make an
एक
exception because,
शख्स हिजरत की हालत में है,
for
वापस जा
example,
नहीं
if
सकता,
someone in the
उसकी
form of
वालदा,
hijrah, he
उसके बाप
can't return, his mother,
या बहुत
his
से अजीज
parents,
लोग
or his
या
all his
वफात पा जाते हैं
close
ऐसे दर्दनाक
people,
हालात
they
में कि वो
either they have died
बच्चे
in
को
such
उनका
terrible
गायबाना जनाजा पढ़ना और गैर मामूली
um,
दुख है, या
they
हादसात में शहीद हो
died
जाते हैं
in terrible
या वैसे
circumstances
शहीद
such
हो
as
जाते हैं।
accidents or
तो
something, or
ये
they are
तो
martyred.
ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिनको
Then
मैं
these
खुद
are some things which
इस्तिस्ना
Huzur
के
is
तौर पर
saying
देख सकता
that
हूँ,
I can look at these as
तो
an
फिर दुआए
exception
मग़फ़िरत के लिए
myself.
लिख दिया करें,
So they should
और वो
write me
ज़रूरी
to
है,
pray
उसके
for
लिए
their
मैं भी शामिल हूँगा।
forgiveness, and that is important
लेकिन
because then I
जनाजे
can
के
pray for their
मुतल्लिक़
forgiveness as
फ़ैसला
well. But as far
खुद
as
पे
the
छोड़
funeral is
देना चाहिए
concerned, you should leave that
और
decision
दुआए
to me.
मग़फ़िरत हो जाए, यही बहुत बड़ी
And
ज़िंदगी असल
Huzur
में
is
उनको
saying that
नसीब है।
it's if their prayer for
तो
their
इस हवाले से जो इसमें ज़िक्र है ना वो लिख देगा,
forgiveness will
तो
be
फिर
done.
ये
Huzur is
ख्याल
saying
आए
that
कि हो सकता है वो लोग ये बातें करते
this
हैं कि जनाजा गायब दुरुस्त नहीं,
when it says here that the face was not seen, then the people maybe people talk about this issue, and this is why I have addressed this issue of funeral prayer in absence.
ये कहता है इस लिहाज से
And he says that
फिर
from
एक
this
और इसकी
regard, then there is
इसकी
another
जो शान नुज़ूल है,
the reason
नुज़ूल
for
बयान
its
करता है,
revelation, which
and
is he's
accordingly
explaining,
in the
and
5th year
accordingly,
of the
in the
prophet's
50th year
mission,
of the Prophet's mission,
16 of them,
16
4
of
of
them,
whom were women, fled into
4 of whom were
Ethiopia,
women,
and
fled
among
into
them
Ethiopia, and
Uthman ibn
among them
Affan and his wife
Uthman bin Affan and his
Ruqayya,
wife
Muhammad's daughter.
Ruqayya, Muhammad's
This
daughter.
was the first flight, but
This was the first
afterwards several
flight, but
others followed
afterwards
them,
several others followed them,
retiring one after another to
retiring
the
one
number
after the
of
other to
83
the
men and 80
number of
women besides
83 men
children.
and 83 women.
These refugees were kindly
And these
received
refugees were refused
by
by the
the
Najashi.
Najashi से ये
The
शिकायतों
Najashi,
कबूल
he
कर रहा है
says, So that means he's accepting the Najashi was a title, but he's also saying, when he says the Najashi, it would mean that he accepts that was not his name, it was his title, but in the brackets he writes that though we know we take this word as a proper name or something. Sorry, I missed the whole words. He's saying that only the title of the Arabs, it is only the title which the Arabs gave to the early kings of this country,
who
refused to deliver them up to those whom the Quraysh demand them, as the Arab writers unanimously protest. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Huzur is saying that this refers to the incident. After this, we turn to the last verse of Surah Aale-Imraan. Which is أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. O you believe, be steadfast and strive to excel in steadfastness and be on your guard and fear Allah that you may prosper. Huzur is saying that if you include Bismillah, then it is 201 because we regard Bismillah as being the first verse. Otherwise, often other Qurans will say that this is number 200, this verse. As-sabr, what is sabr? The discussion is that, for those reading some Arabic, that to stop yourself when you in straitened circumstances is called sabr. And sabartu dabbata abastuha bila alfin, that an animal, if you tie it up without giving it food, then this is mentioned with the name sabr. And there's someone sorry, that I kept the animal close and I did not give it food. We were saying this was found in the Arabs sometimes, the situation where the Holy Prophet ﷺ stopped this very vehemently, and he said that such a person would be punished. Huzur is saying it doesn't just have to do with the Huzur is saying that the four-legged animals, they look after you, and you don't even have you can't even bother to give them food. They give you their milk, their skins, their meat, and it's a great injustice not to give them food. The Holy Prophet ﷺ was talking about the owner of a cat who was being punished in hell because she locked her up inside the house and did not care about the food. So any animal who belongs to someone, it is the owner's compulsory on him to take care of their needs. So the animal which cannot speak for itself, to tie it up, then that means sabartu dabbata, that is the animal has been engrossed, made to suffer sabr. So isbiru wa sabiru, be patient, and sabiru, and be patient in comparison with each other. These words, about this it says, ihsibu anfusakum alal ibadati wajahidu hawaakum. Mufradat Imam Raghib says that this real meaning is that you make your that people will try to go away from worship, and you should tie them up to worship. That is, you should keep them steadfast upon worship. But this is the first meaning of sabr, or patience. And the word sabiru, that means to teach patience as well, and to and compare people's patience, and he says this means that your own desires you should have patience, teach your desires patience. That means that teach them to stay within their circles, to remain confined within their own circles, and to have to have the burden placed on them of having to have patience. Because he was reading another Arabic reference. He was saying it sounds like it's in the old, in the past. He was saying Jarwa to be her show strength with the Jallada, and it's also the same meanings that people who do some brave deeds is called Jallada. Sabara al-shay amsaka. Sabara means to stop oneself, to or to keep firm upon something. Sabara fulanun anil amri abasahu. He stopped him from performing a certain task. So sabara is the same meaning, and any other to stop oneself is also called sabarahu. Another who was reading more Arabic, that which means that someone tried to increase in their sabr, sabiru, to to race with each other or to compete with each other in sabr. In Taj al-Urus it says, who was reading the Arabic, sabr is the opposite of jaza, and those reading some more Arabic. The Johari says that sabr is to stop oneself at that time when if there is a situation of jaza, that means there is extreme restlessness. If at that time one stops one's self, that is called sabr. And then it says that to keep away from fighting with each other, that means disagreements, that means between himself and Allah's commands and the Prophet's commands, and to adopt a path away from that, or to keep away from it, is also called sabr. Sabr al-wuqufu mal balai bihis al-Arabi. Taj al-Urus says that as-sabru al-wuqufu, sabr is to, I'm sorry, if there's a problem, people don't run away from it. So in that state, they stay firm where they are, with good, with respectfully, and with honor. So if one accepts the trial, then that's sabr. At one occasion, the Holy Prophet ﷺ saw an old woman who was crying at the death of her son. He told her to do sabr, and she then replied. She insulted. But when she realized it was Holy Prophet ﷺ, she ran and asked for forgiveness. Holy Prophet ﷺ said that is when you are supposed to have patience, when you are in grief. So saying that this meanings are slightly different. So this translation is absolutely correct, that sabr is to show patience when somebody is overwhelmed with grief. At that time, if people can go free and not fall into the trial, then that is sabr. Because afterwards there's always sabr anyway. People but he's saying that the patience which is worthy of reward, which the Holy Quran has mentioned in the Holy Quran, that it is a source of earning the pleasure of Allah, is the same patience which is performed at the time when one is overwhelmed by grief. And after this, the word is rabitu,
रब्तुल परसे इसमें भी बांधने
In
का
this
मजमून
as
है।
well, there is a
सब्र में
message
इस
of
बांधने का मजमून है
tying.
कि अपनी ज़ात
There
पर
is a message
नज़र
of
रखना
um,
और किसी
tying
हालत के
in
साथ अपने
patience as
आप
well,
को
in sabr as well.
उस वक्त बांध लेना
So
जबकि
to
वो
tie
हालत धक्के दे
something
रही हो
when
और
when the
आप
situation
फिसलते
is
रहें।
pushing you and you
ये
still stay stuck with
दुश्मनों
it,
की इज़ार सानी
this
पर जब
when
वो
the
ईमान के सौदे करना चाहते हों तो इसी
enemy
से
hurts
कायम
people,
रहना सब्र कहलाता है।
and when they try to
उन्होंने अपना
bargain
दामन
your
नहीं छोड़ा,
faith, that's when
वो तोड़ने की
people
कोशिश कर रहे हैं,
become
लेकिन
steadfast.
तुम
That's
हरफ से
what
कायम रहे।
steadfastness is, that they
और
tried to
रब्त
break
है,
you away but you
ये भी
didn't let go. And
बुनने का
rabt
माना है, एक
also
दूसरे से
means to
बांधने के
join
मानों में
with
भी
each
है
other and
और
to
दूसरों को बांधने के
combine with
माने
each
में भी
other,
है।
and also in
इसी लिहाज
terms
से
of
राबितू
tying
का जो
others.
मतलब
This is why the reason
दिया
the
जाता है सरहदों
rabitu
पर
is
घोड़े
taken to
बांधो।
mean that
अगरचे
tying your
राबितू का मतलब है
horses on
बांधो,
the boundaries,
मगर
whereas rabitu means tie,
सरहद पर
to
बांधना
tie, but
ये
to tie on
मौसम हाल
the
के लिहाज से
boundaries,
माने लिए गए
this
हैं या अरबों
is
का
the
रिवाज
meaning taken
कोई
um,
लैंग्वेज टीचर
according to
दोबारा
the
दिए
situation,
गए
or
हैं।
perhaps it might be because
लेकिन
that's what the
बाज़
Arabs used to take it to mean. But
मुफस्सिरीन
most
रिवायत बयान
commentators,
करते हैं बाज़
or
सहाबा
some
से
commentators rather, they
कि राबितू को
they
लफ्ज़ी
report from
लेना
the
दुरुस्त
companions
नहीं है।
that it is wrong
कहते
to
हैं
take
हम कई
rabitu
ग़ज़वात में
for
हुज़ूर
word.
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
They
वसल्लम के
say
साथ शरीक
that
हुए। हमने
literally,
तो
they say that
किसी
in some
ग़ज़वे में भी या किसी मौके पर
they
भी
joined the Holy Prophet
ग़ज़वे से
ﷺ in some
अलावा जो हालतें हैं उनमें भी
battles, and he
मुसलमान
never
घोड़ों
saw the
को
Holy
खरीदने
Prophet
पर पड़ा हुआ नहीं
ﷺ.
देखा। इसलिए
They never saw him
ज़ाहिरी तर्जुमा
getting
करना जो
the Muslim
तौरीख के
horses,
खिलाफ है, जो रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम
Muslims'
की सुन्नत
horses to be on
ऐसे
the
सादत सूरत
boundaries.
के खिलाफ
So
है,
he
कहते
says
हैं
that this
दुरुस्त
is,
नहीं है।
they say this is wrong.
क्योंकि
Therefore,
ये जो
to
रिवायतें
assume that this is what
साबित
it
हुई
means,
वाक़िअतन
because
कभी
this
ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि रसूलुल्लाह
report of
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम
Saadi
के
Huzur is saying
ज़माने में
that this
हो
is correct, that
और घोड़े
it is never
ईरान की
been,
सरहद के
it has
साथ
never
बांधे हुए
happened
हों।
that
ये
the horses should be
मुहावरा है,
in the Holy
सरहद
Prophet
पर घोड़े
ﷺ was
बांधना
in Medina,
वाक़िअतन
and
घोड़ों को
the horses were on
सरहदों
the
पर नहीं
boundary
बांधा
of
जाता
Iran, of
कि
Persia or
गुलामी की
something.
जाती
This
इन
is,
तरह की।
so this doesn't
सरहदों पर
means in a literal sense. It means
ऐसा
to
इंतज़ाम
look
किया
after your
जाता है कि अगर
boundaries. It
दुश्मन
means
हमला
that
करे तो
you should
सरहदों
look
पर
after the
घोड़ों को
boundaries in
देख
such a way that
यानी
if
इतनी
the an
मतलब
enemy attacks the
नज़म
boundaries,
से
then they
तर्तीब
should
हो
see
कि वो अचानक
the
हमला कर
horses.
बैठे
So don't let
और
the
सरहदों पर न जा
enemy
पाए।
be able to
तो ये
attack
काम एक
suddenly and find the
मुस्तैद
boundaries
निगरानी के ज़रिए होता है,
unprotected. So
वरना
this
आज की
is
दुनिया में भी कहीं आपको
done through
जंगी कार्रवाइयाँ
um,
ऐसी नहीं मिलेंगी
taking
कि
care of
वाक़िअतन सबकी सरहदों पर फौजें
boundaries,
बैठी हों।
because you will not find that
तो
you will
फौजों
not
को
find
जंग वहाँ मैदान
armies sitting on the boundaries all the
सरहद तक
time.
पहुँचने के लिए थोड़ा
For the
वक्त
armies
दरकार
to
होता है,
reach
कई महीने
the
पहले से वो
boundaries,
तैयारियां
it
करते हैं,
takes a long
तब
time.
जाके
In fact,
पहुँचते हैं।
sometimes it takes months, and they
लेकिन
have to prepare for months before they
दुश्मन का
can
भी
get
यही
there.
हाल है, वो भी फौरन नहीं
But
पहुँच
the
सकते,
same is the situation of the
निगरान
enemy.
बैठे
They
रहते
can't
हैं।
reach it
जब वो
immediately either. They are
ऐसी हालात देखें
protected, and when
जिससे
they
पता
see
चले कि
such
दुश्मन के इरादे बद हैं, तो
situations,
जो इस तरफ की
when they
तरजीहात
see
हैं
that the
और
intentions of the
तरफ
enemy
फौजें
are
उनकी भिड़ी
bad,
होती हैं। ये
then
फितरत के
they
खिलाफ
go
है कि
to
सरहद पर
the
लोग घोड़े बांधे
boundaries. So it is against nature
और
to think
घोड़ों की
that
यानी
the
वाक़े के
horses
ज़माने
should
में
be kept at the
आलात
boundaries.
जंग की हिफाजत की
And
और
these
तख़्फ़ुज़
days,
के
Huzur is
खिलाफ है
saying that
कि रोज़ वहाँ
it
बैठे
is
रहें।
against the aims
तो राबितू का मतलब ऐसी निगरानी
of the
रखना
war,
है
either that they should just
जिसके
be
नतीजे
sitting
में
there
दुश्मन तुम्हें कभी
and
भी
on the
सरप्राइज़ न दे
edges.
सके।
So it just means
जिस
that make sure
सरहद से
that
वो
you are
हमला
so
करे
prepared that
वहाँ तुम्हें
they can
वाक़िअतन
never
तैयार बैठना
surprise
है।
you. So if they attack any boundary, they should see you ready for defense.
तो
Your
आजकल के
defense
ज़माने में
should be ready.
बीमारियों से
So
इलाज
he's
किया
saying
जाता है
that
ना,
these
प्रोफिलैक्सिस
days
के
when
ज़रिए
people
या वो
treat diseases through prophylaxis, I think Zu said, or
यही घोड़े
people
बांधने का
vaccinate.
मजमून जो है
This is the same thing
ये
as
है
tying the
जब
horses.
पता
This is
लगे
what it
कि
meant.
दुश्मन
Is
आने
meant
वाला
that
है सब्र
when you
करो,
know that an enemy is coming,
जहाँ
then you
वबाएं फैल जाएं वो
vaccinate.
फौरन सबको
And when
कहते हैं
the
कि दवा और
epidemics
कीजिए
spread, then people
ताकि
say
जब
that you should
जरासीम आए
get
तो
yourself
अच्छी
ready
तरह उनकी खातिर खिलाफत
by
हो,
getting
उनको
vaccinated. So when the
दाखिल
germ
होते ही पता चले
comes,
कि दुश्मन
then they should
जो
immediately
जिस इलाके से
realize, as
हमला
soon as
कर
they
रहे
enter
हैं
the body, they should
वो लोग
realize
मुस्तैद हैं, ये
and that
निज़ाम जो है
this
इंसान
body
का
is
इंसानी
ready.
बदन का हर वक्त
So
तैयार बैठा है। तो ये राबितू का मफ़हूम है।
so this is what Rabitu means.
राबितू का रूहानी माना लेते हुए ताज
The
उरूस में
spiritual
लिखा है
meaning of
कि
Rabitu, as I
इत्तिबातुल
said in
खैरि
Taj
अल
al-Urus, is that Ittibatul Khairi,
मुहाफ़ज़तुन अला मवाक़िफ़िस
Muhafazatun
सलात
ala Mawaqif
ये
Salati. I think Huzur said that
नमाज के औकात की
the timings of salat to take care of them. That means to offer salat on time. This is what Ribatul Khair means, because here it doesn't mean apparent boundaries. It means all kinds of boundaries from where anyone can attack. And in this regard, Satan's attack is the most important, because Satan is the most dangerous. So he says that and at the times of at the times of prayer, or the edges of the time of prayer, you should keep it protected. So that means that don't let it get so late that you lose your salat. So the times of salat makes boundaries. So this is a good mean translation, and it also has a relationship with the heart. That is Rabb, the word Rabt. Therefore, Rabbatallahu ala qalbihi means that Allah strengthens his heart. Imam Raghib has taken this, accepted this meaning, and he said Rabtun al qalbi, to strengthen someone's heart, is the meaning of Rabt. وَرَبَّتْنَا عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ, the Holy Quran says, and he refers to this, and he said that we tied their hearts tightly. So Rabatna means to bring them together, not to let them become scattered. In this regard, as I was saying, now we shall return to this verse. Just as I said, I've said before, this is the last verse of Surah Aale-Imraan. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu bsiru. Sorry. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu bsiru wasabiru warabitu. That such dangers which have in reality to do with boundaries, or to do with the the attacks of the enemy, when we translate it to in that way, then the reason why this is kept at the end is because before this, three major battles have been mentioned: the Battle of Badr, the Battle of Uhud, and Hamra al-Asad. And there are some indications very clearly which inform us that in the future as well there will be more dangers from the enemies. At all of these occasions when the Muslims fought with the enemy, Allah protected them in an incredible manner. But in that, this subject was also included, that the Holy Prophet ﷺ always used to take care, and he used to judge what the intentions of the enemy was. And this ribat was, the Holy Prophet ﷺ used to do this before, from before. So although horses weren't tied at the boundaries, but he used to keep himself informed of the enemy's movements, and therefore the Muslims were also warned that they shouldn't stand on the boundaries so that the enemy can see you. Therefore, he stopped people. He said that don't make such people your enemies who want to take your secrets, and they'll take your secrets, and they may use them against you. And because they desire they desire to cause you harm, and they get happy if you're harmed. So this is another meaning of this word rabitu, that you should keep an eye on the enemy's movements. And the tajassusu does not mean that don't be curious about the enemy. The la tajassusu, don't be curious, is about your own society, that you should think well of people, and this will give them ribat. And there, if you search and be curious, then it will be wrong. But as far as the outsiders are concerned, you should keep an eye on them, with a delicate view, and because they're your enemies, they're always going to think ill of you. In this regard, our Jamaat should be very careful. It is correct that Allah mostly, because of the enemies, because of their own mistakes, Allah tells us what schemes they are making. But as far as Jamaat Ahmadiyya's conscious attempts are concerned, that means that to keep an eye on the enemies' movements. As far I think there's a lot of drawbacks in this. Huzur is saying that we do get news in the sense that whenever every Ahmadi people write to me, and there are different things that are happening. They write to me. Huzur is saying that an individual person's letter sometimes doesn't give much of a message, but you have the same message coming from different people in the same place, then you get an idea. Huzur is saying, for example, when there was the Maududi people got collected, then it became proven that they said that the Ahmadi students got together and they tried to they beat up the people who were going past in a train. This is in the 1970s, and as a result, as a reaction, the Muslim Ummah then showed this reaction that they went and killed Muslims everywhere, whereas their own court of inquiry has proven beyond doubt that even though if this was if it was something that they thought because they were ill-informed, then that's okay. But now they know very well, and they still make that allegation, and they're preparing the country for this. They're saying that this is what happened the first time around, and now we're warning you that in the future as well, when the Jamaat does something wrong, then this is how you should react. And what is the proven truth? The proven truth is that the Jamaat Ahmadiyya, not Jamaat Ahmadiyya, but the students of this group, and some other students who were with them, who were under the influence of the government, they got together and they conspired. And as I was saying, I've mentioned this before in my speeches in some Friday sermons, but I'm telling you how from the news that we get from different places, it informs us of a problem that is about to happen somewhere, or a conspiracy, but there is no proper organized manner of finding out. So they're saying, for example, then also in Hazara, where the enemy were trying to have been for a long time, they've been trying to commit disorder against the Ahmadis. There, some students there was a planned attack on the students, and police were waiting and watching. And when they tried to defend themselves, and they fired at them, and immediately in all the newspapers it was written that the Ahmadis made a horrific conspiracy, and they went and attacked Muslims, non-Ahmadi Muslims, and they were dangerous to their lives and stuff. They did exactly the opposite of what actually happened. Exactly what had happened in the railway station Rabwa, that's exactly what they did here as well. So the Ahmadi who sent me the cutting of the Jung newspaper, and he said that look at this strange thing where they've said this. The person who wrote these incidents, as a result of the attempt of the Jamaat, it didn't happen. As a result of that, he's saying that it's just so from different places, the different incidents were reported to me, and from that we can gather what plans the enemy is making against us. But this verse revealed in the time of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This verse refers to that time in the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ when
ये भी निज़ाम था
there was a very well organized system of keeping an eye on enemy, and it was impossible for the enemy to surprise the Muslims. And also Allah says that
छुपाए रखो, ये माने
keep your keep whatever you know safely, and do not let anyone else know about it, and you should protect your boundaries. And this is one of the meanings that comes out of this. The Holy Prophet, according to the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and now and the next is that where Allah says that be instructs the Muslims to be patient. So in the light of the battles that have been mentioned, it proves that they weren't offensive wars. It appears that the enemy used to try to encourage the Muslims to fight, and despite the Muslims' patience, still such incidents used to occur, and as a result of which the battles used to spark up. So these three major incidents of major battles, at the end the Holy Quran takes you to this conclusion that in this last verse of Surah Aale-Imraan, that you should have patience, show patience on the hurt that is caused to you by the enemy, and and do not do something which would do not do something which would make the enemy use it as an excuse to attack you. And if there is any problem, do not abrogate. You should stay firm with complete faithfulness to the truth, and remain associated with the truth, and instruct other people to do the same. And you should compete with each other in patience. If you see someone else being patient, then don't be merciful to yourself. Sometimes people become weak when they see other people showing patience. The servants of the Holy Prophet ﷺ are expected that when you see people being being mistreated, then you should think that you are going to be be more patient than them, and you're going to protect yourselves, and you'll never detract from that path that your friends have been following. And the weak among people can also waver. So saying that some people, for example, they sit and think that this is where we will stay no matter what happens. You should make them realize, and you should tell them that it is in patience that it's better for them to be patient. And if you show patience in this way, then you will be able to keep keep yourself warned of future problems. So if such trials occur in the future, then the enemy should find you steadfast and firm and ready, and will not be able to defeat you. So this naturally falls into the word rabitu, and here there are two meanings of rabitu: sabr, patience, and the teachings of patience. You can tie each other's hearts, and as a result of patience, you will turn into a whole people, because people who show patience, they're always together. Who combine together at a particular way. Huzur is saying that just like a poet says that, oh Robin, let us we are both in pain, and let us both sit together and sing. And then another poet called Faiz, he also says something similar in another in a verse of a poem. Without reading the Urdu, so it's like this whole subject in this verse is speaking of that is, if you have gone through the same kind of situations, then you're going to come together, and if you share each other's pains, sorrows, and then and also when the Holy Quran mentions the treatment of the problems that the Muslim shall face later on, they are told to show patience, but here وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, that you should, Allah is telling us that if you teach people, you have to do it with patience, because the person who is teaching or instructing, he will have to have patience. If they don't, then they're telling people something is sorry. So to stay stuck with it and do not abandon it. فَذَكَّرْ نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى, that if you want to instruct people, then this is how you should instruct them, and then it will definitely benefit people. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, it's in the Holy Quran. And the pious people, they also tell others to show patience, so they stay firm upon the patience, and they go on enjoining patience to others as well. And وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ means that they themselves display patience. So they tell others to show patience, and then they are firm on this. They do so regularly. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, another meaning of this would be that they don't advise other people to do patience unless they themselves display the best form of patience. Sabr gives strength to their advice and it proves their truth. So this is the same subject that is being repeated again, that as a result of this patience, etc., your relationships with each other will increase, you will become together, and you will always keep an eye on your boundaries, because Rabitu also means to tie your horses on the boundaries, and when the aims and everything become the same, then you should remember you must try. It doesn't mean that you should accept a defeat, a problem, and bow before it. This verse tells you that you accept the problem in the sense that you bow your head before the mercy of Allah and the pleasure of Allah, and the greater the qualities that have been granted to you, about which people are trying to. You should never abandon things. You should never abandon your aims, and this state of staying together. This doesn't mean that in this situation you should accept it in such a way that you don't care about removing it. This doesn't mean that you should accept this situation, that in the future it should continue to happen and you would always be showing patience. In order to remove the removal of the pain is not against the meaning of sabr. Because only when you go through pain do you realize what pain is. So you have to make sure you learn from that, and you shouldn't just say that okay, what's happened is happened and now that's it. We don't care. Let it happen. It doesn't mean that at all. Rabitu it indicates this to us. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, and show righteousness so that you become successful. This is translation in my words, and this is from the this is the reason why this verse is kept at the end. In the beginning, trials and tribulations are mentioned, and eventually we have been reminded about the future and the trials that are going to be faced in the future. You should learn from the ones that you have gone through, and you should be steadfast, and you should stay together. And this is what in this is your salvation, and the good deeds at which you've been set fast. They're going there will maybe trials which you go through where you'll be there'll be attempts to remove you from your good deeds. So stay firm upon your good deeds and don't think that the time of the trials is gone and it's not going to come again. Hazrat Imam Raghib says about sabr that this means intelligence to stop yourself through your while being well aware. So sabr has got different meanings and in different situations it means different things. So sometimes to stop yourself at any problem, not just a religious problem, to keep your to quell your self is called sabr. And also patience is also called sabr. She's saying that fasting is also sabr. She's saying that when we are fasting, there are many things that are okay, that are normally there, that are fine for us, and then to at the moment of fasting, when one is not permitted to do them, and that is also sabr. And another commentator has said that sabr also means being brave. And according to Imam Raghib, isbiru sabr means to worship Allah and to keep yourself steadfast upon the worship of Allah, and you should to struggle against the desires of yourself. Here then the meaning of keeping your horses on the boundaries would then mean that the boundaries that Allah has kept, it would not mean that stay near them, it would mean stay away from them. Because here to tie horses on the boundaries, it means that do not even go near them, that the boundaries that Allah has created for you, otherwise there's a danger that you may fall to the other side. And so when the Quran says it means that to show patience and to stay firm upon the worship with while struggling. Then another commentator says that to tie a horse somewhere for the purpose of protection. Ribatul Gaishe Makan al-Lazi Yukhatilu bihi Iqamati Hafazatin fihi ribatan. That a place where the enemy stays, the soldiers stay to protect from the enemy. And who's reading some more Arabic? He's saying that this means protection. In this regard, it means to tie. The literal meaning is to tie, but it actually means protection. And Rabata Shaya Rabtan Asaqahu wa Shaddahu. Huzur saying these things are not necessary to be discussed. What Imam Raghib has said is enough. Huzur saying that I have all the commentaries of the commentators, but I don't see anything new except the ribat of the heart, which I've already mentioned. Huzur is saying. He's also reading some more Arabic.
ताज उरूस ने नमाजों की अदायगी
Taj
और उनके
al-Urus has
अहतमाम का
said
जिक्र
that
किया है।
to offer salat at the correct time is referred to it, referred that to
इमाम राजी
the, that meaning to sabr as well. Imam Razi
फरमाते हैं कि इस सूरत में
says
खुदा ताला
that
ने
in this
उसूल और फुरू में
chapter
कई कसीर
Allah
उलूम बयान
has
फरमाए हैं। मसलन
taught us
उसूल में
many
से तौहीद,
of
अदल, नबूवत और माद,
many
और
principles
फुरू
and
में से
many other
फ़राइज़ व अहकाम यानी हज, जहाद
many
वगैरह।
obligations
और अब आखिर
like
पर
Hajj,
ये आयत
etc.
रखी
And
है
then at
जो
the
इन
end
सब
there is
किस्म के
this
आदाब
verse
पर हावी है।
that which prevails
फरमाते
over
हैं कि
all such
इस
things.
सूरत में खुदा ताला
And
ने जो
so
मुख्तलिफ
in this chapter
बुनियादी
Allah
और
has
उसूली तालीमात दी हैं
given many
और
basic
बाद
and
तफसीली तालीमात
teachings
दी
of
हैं।
principal teachings
इस
as well,
आयत
and
का
some
आखिर पर
detailed
रखना
teachings. And
याद दहानी करवा रहा
this
है
verse at the
कि
end
तुम
reminds
इन
us
तालीमात की
that
हिफाजत करना
you have to
और उन
protect
पर
those
सब्र से कायम
teachings that you
रखना
have been
रहना
given, and you have to stay
और किसी
firm
वक्त
upon
भी
them with
शैतान तुम पर
steadfastness,
हमला न कर सके।
and let Satan never
बस
attack you.
लफ्ज़
Therefore,
शैतान तो मैंने इस्तेमाल नहीं किया मगर बड़ा
Huzur saying
बड़ी
that there
जजाएं
he doesn't
मानता
use
है।
the word Satan, but
इन
obviously
मानों में
that's what
अगर
he
शैतान
means.
को भी इसमें समझा
And in
जाए
this regard,
तो
if
फिर रिबातुल खैल का मतलब सरहदों पर घोड़े बांधने
Huzur
का
saying
ये
that
होगा कि
if you think it means the
किनारों
Satan,
की
then
भी हिफाजत करना,
you would
यानी बदियां
then
जब दाखिल होती हैं
it would then mean
तो
that you
हल्के
should
हल्के
take care of your
मसाविस के जरिए दाखिल होती हैं।
boundaries.
समझते हो तुम
When
कि किनारों की
sins
चीज़
enter
थोड़ी सी
into
घुल के
people,
कम हुई है,
they
मगर जब
enter
तुमने
from the
एक दफ़ा
boundaries, and it
शैतान को
seems like as
दाखिल
if
होने
the
दिया तो
only
काल वो
a
किनारे पर
tiny
भी
bit of
दाखिल
the
होगा
boundary
तो वो अंदर तक फिर
is
सरायत
rubbed.
करता चला जाएगा।
But if you let
और
him
ये
go and
मजमून
come
वो है
inside, let
जिसको हम
Satan come inside,
तिब
then
में
he will go
हर
right
हर
inside.
रोज़ इसी
And
तरह
this we see in the
बरसर
medicine,
अमल देखते हैं, यही कार्रवाई
act
करते हैं
in
जरासीम भी।
medicine all the time. This is
वो लोग जो
exactly how
समझते
what
हैं कि
the
क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है थोड़ा सा
bacteria
जो
etc.
चंद
do.
जरासीम
People
चले गए,
think that it doesn't
तो
matter
उनको
if
ये
there's a
नहीं पता
few
कि
bacteria, but they
अंदर
don't
दाखिल हो जाएं
realize that
और
once
उनको
they enter
ब्लड
into
हेड मिल जाए,
inside you, if
किसी
they
कोई जगह
find
अड्डा बनाने का
if they
मौका मिल जाए
find a
तो
place
वो
where they can
मारा मार एक दूसरे
stay,
का सारा इलाका
then
फतह करते करते और
they
फिर
conquer all the areas around, and
फेफड़ों
then
जिगर दिल पे कब्जा कर
they
लेते
go
हैं,
into
दिमाग को नष्ट
the
कर देते हैं।
heart and the lungs and everything.
तो रिबातुल खैल इस
So Ribatul
दुनियावी
Khail,
बीमारियों के लिहाज से हिफ्ज़ मा तक़द्दुम का मजमून
they
करता है।
are it gives you
रूहानी बीमारियों के लिहाज
um,
से ये बारीक
the
ख्याल रखना
meaning of
कि शैतान
protecting yourself from
हल्की हल्की छोटी
diseases,
छोटी
and Satan
गलतियां करवा कर
makes
तुम्हें
people do
बड़ी गलतियों से
small
रहमाई
sins,
करेगा
and
अगर
then
तुम
that way
मुतमईन नहीं रहोगे
it makes you
तो
inclined
तुम्हारी
towards
समझ
bigger
मासूम
sins, and
रहेगी।
if you're not careful, then your boundaries will not be protected from against Satan.
तफसीर कबीर में आगे फिर वो उसकी
In
टेक्निकल
Tafsir
तफासील
Kabir,
बयान हुई हैं जो
there are
मैं
technical details that are mentioned.
बाकी फतुल बयान में भी
In
वही
Fathul
कुछ है,
Bayan as well, the same is
गुलाहों पर
mentioned,
सब्र, फराइज़ की अदायगी
to
पर,
be patient on
नाजायज़ से रुकने
trials,
पर वगैरह
and
वगैरह,
to
ये कोई
keep firm on
नया
one's
मजमून नहीं, ये सब चीज़ें पहले
obligations.
बयान हो चुकी हैं।
So I think I've mentioned this before as well.
इसके बाद वो हदीसें शुरू हो
After
जाती
this
हैं
is the traditions
जो
begin, where
मुख्तलिफ तफासीर की कुतुब में मिलती हैं
different
मगर
are found in different
उनकी
books of
कोई
traditions, in books of
सनद
commentaries, but they
काबिल
have no
एतमाद मोतबर
um,
अहादीस में नहीं है
they have no
और उनका अंदाज बता रहा है कि यहाँ बात के आने के
they don't
ज़माने
appear
वालों ने
authentic, and their style
अपने दिमाग
appears
से
that
नक्शे खींच कर
the people
वो
who came
कुछ हदीसें
afterwards,
वज़ा
they
कर दी हैं
created some
और कुछ
scenarios from their
हदीसों का
minds,
मजमून ना
and they
समझ कर
wrote
उन्होंने
such
ऐसी बातें बना ली हैं।
such things which because
मसलन
it misunderstood some traditions.
अगर
For
किसी ने
example,
एक रात
if
घोड़े
someone
बांधे
tied
तो
horses one
उसका
day,
एक माह
then
मुसलसल रोजे रखने और इबादत
f-
करने के बराबर सवाब होगा।
it was
तो इस किस्म की गिनतियाँ
it was
ये
akin
बाद के
to
ज़माने के
keeping
खौफ हैं।
to
साफ पता
keeping
चलता है
fasts and
और
worshipping for
वज़ू के
1 month.
ज़माने
Huzur
के
is saying that
बाद
this
जो
cannot be right.
बीच का दौर आया
It
है तारीख
means
दौर
it obviously
उस ज़माने
it
में बहुत सी
indicates
हदीसें जो वज़ा
towards
हुई हैं उनमें ये गिनतियाँ ये हिसाब
the
स्टेशन पे आपको बहुत मिलेगा।
the incidents,
और
sorry,
वाकया ये है कि सरहद पर
the
घोड़ा बांधने के मुताबिक ये कभी
what
भी
happened after the
मजबूत
initial
है।
time of Islam. There were people
हज़रत
who wrote
सल्लल्लाहु
certain
अलैहि
things,
वसल्लम ने कभी भी
um,
सरहदों पर
whereas the
घोड़ा
Holy
नहीं
Prophet
बनवाया, घोड़े तो
ﷺ
उनके घरों में
never
हुआ करते थे,
tied horses in the on the
लेकिन
boundaries.
सरहदों की
The
खातिर
horses were in
होते
their
थे
home, were
कि
near
यूँ
their
कहें कि
homes, but
किसी
they
की
were for the
कराची में
sake of
घोड़ा
the
बांधा
boundaries.
सरहद
But
पे
so the
जाके,
thing
तो
to
एक
tie a horse
महीने
for
की
one
मुसलसल
night,
रोज़ों
then
और
it is
इबादत का सवाब मिल गया।
the same
ये
as
यूनिक बात है।
the same reward as keeping fast for 1 month. This is a very strange thing to say.
अबू सलमा अब्दुल रहमान
Abu
की
Salma
रवायत
Abdul Rahman,
तफसीर कबीर राजी में लिखी है।
in Tafsir Kabir
अबू
Razi, there is a
सलमा अब्दुल
reference
रहमान कहते
that
हैं कि
Abu
हज़रत
Salma Abdul Rahman says that the Holy Prophet ﷺ,
सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के ज़माने में ऐसा कोई
at the
ग़ज़वा पेश
time, at
नहीं
his
आया
time, there was no
जिसके
battle
दौरान घोड़े बांधे गए हों।
during which any horses
और
should have been
ग़ज़वे की
tied,
यहाँ बहस थी नहीं, यहाँ
and
तो आम
there
हालत
was no
में
mention
हमेशा
of
बांधे
there is
रहते
no
थे।
mention of any
तो
battle
ज़्यादा से
here.
ज़्यादा
This means
करीबी
that in
क़यास
general
ये हो
this
सकता
is a
था
general
कि
situation.
जब ग़ज़वा हो रहा है तो
So
उस वक्त बांधे जाएं।
um,
उस वक्त तो घोड़ों को
so
सड़क पर बांधने का मतलब है उनको हलाक करवा दो,
Huzur is saying that at that time,
इसलिए
when there's
हरगिज़
a
वक्त
battle
में
going
बांधे
on,
नहीं
if you
जाते।
tie the horses,
हाँ,
then
पर
this would
बांधने से
it
मज़मून
is
ये हो
killing
सकता है कि
akin
कहीं
to
छावनियाँ बनाओ।
killing them. But it could
और ये
mean
वो
that you
शरीयत है
should
जो
have
सारी दुनिया
make
में मकबूल किया है
trenches near the
और
boundaries,
बड़ा
and this
मौसर
is
तरीका
what
है।
we see
ऐन सरहद
in
के
the whole
ऊपर
world, that
घोड़े बांधे नहीं
right on the
जाते,
boundaries there are
घुड़सवारों की
not
छावनियाँ उससे
they're
मुनासिब
not
फासले पर रखी जाती हैं ताकि वो नज़र में रहें और
horses.
उनको
There are
खतरा ना हो।
trenches, and where people,
और
riders,
जो
etc.,
बनगोई हैं हदीस में
can
वो
stay.
मैंने बताया ना कि कोई जाकर आज घोड़ा बांध
So
रहा
we're
है
saying
तो
these, according to these
मिले
kind
ना
of
मिले
made up
दूसरे दिन की अलग
traditions,
बहस है,
to
मिलेंगे
go
तो
and
एक
tie
मतलब
your
सवाब तो ज़रूर होगा।
horse at the boundary.
बाद
The
लोग जब
next day you
इमरान की
might
जब बैठे
lose
हैं तो
it, but
जाके
at least
घोड़े
you
ही
will
बांध के
get
आएंगे कभी
the reward for 1 month. So we're saying
अब
that
क्योंकि
people,
नमाज की सरहद
people,
शुरू
instead
हो
of
गई है
fasting for a month,
और उसको घोड़े
they should
बांधने का
just go
खास
and
हुक्म है, इसलिए
tie
बताया
the
कि
horses. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم